You have been holding on for a long time, holding on to memories that no longer serve you, holding on to people who already left your story, holding on to expectations that were never yours, holding on to versions of yourself that you have already outgrown. You tell yourself you are strong because you can hold everything together, but strength is not always in holding on. Sometimes strength is found in the quiet decision to let go. Letting go is not simple. It feels like losing control. It feels like stepping into the unknown. It feels like admitting that you cannot carry everything anymore. And somewhere inside, you fear that release means defeat. But release is not defeat. Release is freedom. Freedom does not arrive with noise. It does not announce itself loudly. It does not come with a dramatic moment. Real freedom is quiet. It comes softly, the moment you stop gripping what harms you. People believe letting go means giving up, but letting go is not giving up. It is choosing yourself again. It is choosing peace over pressure. It is choosing your future over your past. You may feel heavy right now because you are still holding what wants to leave. You may feel tired because you are still fighting for something that no longer fights for you. You may feel stuck because your hands are full of things you were meant to release. In Japanese culture, there is a simple idea. A closed hand cannot receive anything new. Only an open hand can. And the truth is, your life cannot bring you anything new while you are holding on to the old with all your strength. Look at your life honestly. How many things are you carrying out of habit, not out of love? How many situations are you holding because you fear being empty? How many people are you keeping because you fear being alone? How many memories do you revisit because you are afraid to move forward? Holding on is the reason your heart feels heavy. Holding on is the reason your mind feels blocked. Holding on is the reason your growth feels slow. Holding on is the reason you cannot breathe freely. Letting go does not mean deleting your past. It means accepting that your past cannot guide your future anymore. You may feel guilty for releasing something you kept for years. You may feel afraid that letting go will break you. You may feel uncertain because you do not know who you will be without this burden. But the peace you are searching for lives on the other side of release. Freedom begins quietly. It shows up in small ways. It shows up in the breath you did not know you were holding. It shows up in the silence that no longer feels threatening. It shows up when your heart feels a little lighter. It shows up when you wake up one day and realize you are not fighting the same battle anymore. People rarely talk about this part, the part where release feels uncomfortable, the part where freedom feels too quiet, the part where you expect something dramatic to happen, but instead, everything goes silent. That silence is not emptiness. That silence is freedom entering your life. Letting go is a gentle process. You do not release everything at once. You release one thought at a time, one memory at a time, one attachment at a time. And with each release, you create more space for peace. Your heart is not meant to hold everything. Your hands are not meant to carry every burden. Your mind is not meant to fight every battle. Some things are not meant to be held forever. Some things are meant to be released with respect. Right now, you may not feel free. You may still feel confused. You may still feel unsure of what comes next. That is normal. Freedom is unfamiliar at first because you lived so long inside pain. But trust this, when you finally release what no longer belongs to you, life becomes lighter. Your path becomes clearer. Your emotions become calmer. Your heart becomes softer. Before we move to the solutions, understand this truth. Freedom does not arrive when everything changes around you. Freedom arrives when something changes inside you. When you stop carrying what was never meant for you. When you stop forcing what is no longer working. When you stop fighting battles that are already over. If these words feel like they are speaking to your situation, subscribe, like this video, comment the word release, and share this message with someone who needs to let go gently. In part 2, we will talk about 10 powerful steps that will help you release with peace, accept what is leaving, and open your life to a new chapter that you truly deserve. When you finally understand that holding on is the weight slowing your life, you begin to see the truth clearly. Freedom is not something you chase. Freedom grows inside you when you release what has already ended. Letting go is not a dramatic moment. It is a gradual softening of your grip, a slow surrender, a quiet acceptance that your heart deserves to breathe again. Now, we will talk about 10 steps that guide you into real release. These steps are gentle, practical, and shaped from the timeless wisdom of living with simplicity found in Japanese culture. You do not need to master them all at once. You only need to begin with one and let the rest follow naturally. Here are the 10 steps that help you release with peace and welcome freedom into your life. 1. Accept that release is not a loss. You feel afraid to let go because you think you will lose something important. But most of what you fear losing is already gone. What you are holding now is only memory, attachment, or hope. When you release, you are not losing your life. You are making space for your true life to begin. Accepting this truth softens the resistance inside you. You cannot free yourself while believing that release is defeat.
2. Stop negotiating with the past. You often replay old situations in your mind, trying to change the ending. This mental negotiation keeps you tied to moments that are already over. The past does not respond to your thoughts. It does not change with your regret or your analysis. When you stop arguing with what has already happened, the past finally stops controlling your emotions. Peace enters the moment you stop rewriting yesterday. 3. Allow emotions without judgment. Letting go brings emotions to the surface. Sadness, fear, guilt, confusion. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs that you are healing. Do not avoid these emotions. Do not label them as bad. Feel them fully, but gently. In Japanese culture, there is an idea that emotions pass like clouds when you do not try to hold them. Your job is not to push them away, but to let them move through you. What you allow will eventually release. 4. Create distance from what drains you. Freedom arrives when you protect your energy. If a person, habit, or environment constantly pulls you backward, create a little distance. This distance is not rejection. It is space for your heart to breathe. Even if you cannot let go completely today, create small gaps. Reduce contact, reduce thoughts, reduce emotional investment. Distance weakens attachment and strengthens clarity. 5. Replace attachment with acceptance. When you hold on tightly, you are trying to control an outcome. But life does not move according to your grip. Acceptance does not mean you agree with what happened. Acceptance simply means you are no longer resisting reality. When you accept, you shift from fighting to understanding. And release becomes easier because you are no longer battling against the truth. 6. Lighten your inner story. You carry a story about yourself that keeps you bound to your past. A story of hurt, failure, abandonment, or disappointment. Letting go requires rewriting this story. You do not need to erase what happened, but you must stop allowing it to define you. Say quietly, I am allowed to change my story. A lighter story allows your heart to move forward without dragging emotional weight behind you. 7. Practice small acts of release. Release is not one big decision. It is a collection of small choices. You release one message you do not send, one memory you do not revisit, one argument you choose not to continue. Each small release builds the strength for bigger ones. Over time, these small acts become your new emotional habit. 8. Allow silence to heal you. When you let go, silence arrives. At first, it feels uncomfortable because noise once filled your emptiness. But silence is where healing takes root. Sit quietly for a few minutes every day. Listen to your breath. Listen to your thoughts without reacting. Listen to the space around you. Stillness helps your heart reorganize itself. Silence is not the absence of life. Silence is the beginning of clarity. 9. Step into life without carrying old weight. When you release something, fill that space with something new. A new habit, a new routine, a new thought, a new experience. Not to distract yourself, but to guide your energy forward. You do not heal by removing alone. You heal by replacing. When you choose the next step intentionally, you stop walking backward. Release opens the path. Action helps you move on it. 10. Redefine freedom as emotional lightness. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is not cutting everything out of your life. Freedom is emotional lightness. It is breathing without tension. It is waking up without heaviness. It is living without replaying the same pain. Redefine freedom as the ability to live without the burden you once carried. When you see freedom as peace, you no longer hold on to what disturbs your inner world. Now take a moment. Notice how your body feels right now. You may feel softer. You may feel lighter. You may feel like something inside you has loosened. This is release beginning to work. It does not happen all at once. It happens in waves, in moments, in gentle shifts. One day you realize you are not hurting the same way. One day you realize the memory no longer controls you. One day you realize your hands are finally empty and your heart is finally calm. Before we end, here is a small task. Take a page and write this line. I release what no longer belongs to my path. Under it, write 3 things you know are ready to be released. Fold the paper and keep it somewhere safe. Each morning for the next week, place your hand on the folded paper and breathe slowly. This reminds your mind that release is now part of your life. And if this message helped you move toward freedom gently, subscribe, like the video, comment the word freedom, and share this with someone who is trying to let go at their own pace. Your freedom is not loud. Your freedom is soft, quiet, and real. And it begins the moment you release.